It's the day after harvest. We're getting all the equipment stored away. We've got, while we were in our meeting this morning discussing what we're doing now, they put all of the conveyors and the even flow bin and the sorter table in this cellar. So this is the cellar that has a crack and it's starting to fall down, but without potatoes in it, we don't think it'll fall down. So we stored all of our spud equipment in here, our new equipment, so it's finally out of the sun. And we were going to put our piler in there, and we still are going to put it in there, but we got pulling it over here and noticed one of the wheels had a crack. So they got looking at it, and this hub completely snapped. So this is the hub. So it just broke the hub off this rim. That's not good. So we've already got a hold of Spudnik and they're gonna replace it, but we wonder why it even broke in the first place. Now this was the tire that when it has all the weight of this thing on it, it was wrinkling this tire when they would turn. So maybe it's not supposed to have all that weight on it, but why would you design it to be hooked up like that if you couldn't move it around with this? So one thing we're looking at, they've unbolted all of the beds. So all of our spud trucks, now we have to pull all the beds off and put our hay beds on that look kind of like that. That is a new truck that we got at an auction. It's not new, it's really old. But this one's just gonna be a manure truck. We're not gonna ever do hay with it or spuds with it. It's just gonna be manure only. And then there's this bed too. This is a manure bed. But we're pulling all the trucks back over here. You can see there's already some trucks without beds on them. We're already pulling the beds off because we're cutting hay next week. So right now it's a mad dash to try and get everything put away, changed over, and going again. Let me go show you the harvester. So something happened last night as we finished the last field and finished the very last field, and they were driving all the equipment back to the farm. Granted, this field is we were only a mile from the farm. It was just a mile drive. So we were driving all the equipment back and it was all good and fine. It was about, it wasn't even dark yet. It was about almost 7 o'clock. Well, some idiot comes driving down the road, and in Idaho, cars are supposed to yield to farm equipment. So Christopher got over so he would have enough room. Well, he didn't get over. And if you see this chain, he hit this chain with his car. He essentially drove his car underneath the harvester. It snagged this chain hit his windshield, almost peeled the roof off his car, sent him to the hospital. He's in the hospital. He had his arm out the window, so it ripped up his arm pretty good. But ripped the chain in half, bent these plates, bent these all out, which it can all be fixed. Bent that one out a little bit, kind of tweaked a few things, messed up this chain. This chain's $7,000 just for that one chain. So yeah, watch what you're doing when you see farm equipment driving down the road, because you will not win in a wreck against something like this. So yeah, that happened last day. Luckily it was the last day. We were completely done because it would take quite a while to put a new chain on and straighten everything back out. But yeah, last day of harvest, and somebody freaking runs right into the side of our harvester as we were driving down the road. He even got over so the guy could get by, but he didn't move, didn't do anything, just ran right into it. It's like he was on his phone or wasn't paying attention or something. But crazy things happen. That's when I got rear-ended in the Dammer Diker. It was the last day. I had just finished, and a guy tried passing me. I stopped, and he ran right into the back of me. So we're gonna go over here and finish getting our truck beds taken off so we can put the hay beds on. So it looks like they've just about pulled off all the beds. This is one of the last ones. There might be one more that they haven't brought over yet. Trevor was just taking that one over. we do have to kind of go through the trucks, make sure everything still works before we put the manure / hay beds on, which they're all sitting right there. So there's one guy inside. There's a bunch of chains, so he's in there. He's hooked up all the chains, and then we just lift the truck beds off. Nice and easy. There's not really anything that hangs down aside from one little thing to tighten the chains. And then we just go over here and we sit them on railroad ties. And now all the beds are off, and we'll look them over, and then we'll be putting all of the hay beds on pretty shortly. Here's one of the hay beds. Well, that's actually set up as a manure bed, but all the beds are right there. We just have to put them on, and then we have sides that go on. Looks like we have to take the beaters off of some of them, but yeah, we'll get this all set up, and we'll keep chugging along here. Farming never ends. We just finished harvesting. That was the last cellar we filled, and we're already getting ready for the next thing. So whether it's getting ready for the next crop or the next manure hauling or the next harvest, it seems like it never ends. Not even in the winter. All the stuff we break throughout the year, we'll bring in our shop during the winter, and we go over it, fix it. Now we're hooked up to one of our beds that we'll be putting on the first bed we'll be putting on. This one goes on 18, so over here pulling 18 out. It's nice when we have a lot of help, because it can be kind of hard to do this when there's only a couple of you. We have done it with only 2 people before, and it's not great, but it can be done. Right now we have a whole bunch of help. All of our pipe movers have 2 or 3 days before they go back to Mexico, so they're here helping us get everything set up for the next thing, which is nice. Here we are putting on one of the beds. Just about to set it down. There's just dust on the frame from the potato trucks, so we're dusting the frame off, or that way this will sit all the way down, because if not, the bolt holes won't line up. Because there's bolt holes right there that have to line up. So we're gonna get this set down on, where hopefully everything lines up. Okay. I think it's on. We're gonna pull this one out, we'll get the next one. Got 2 down. Just grabbing the next bed. We're just gonna keep on cranking them out here. Those guys, they're getting all the twine off the beaters while we get these beds on. Okay, we just got this one on. It doesn't take very long to put them on. What takes a long time is bolting them down. So now we just set them on. We'll take them all back to the shop one at a time. We got to bolt them down and hook all the hydraulics and everything up. That's what takes a long time, but we'll get there. Now I'm in the truck. So they're over there getting that one hooked up, and then I'll back underneath it. They're coming. If I back up too far, it'll hit the back window and shatter the window. So it is kind of important that I pay attention to what I'm doing. So we'll see what we can do here. The PTO hangs way down, so I don't want to hit that. I got to get around the front of the tires. And then crank it. PTO has to fit. It has to fit between those frame rails.
What's that?
The PTO or the gearbox has to fit between those two frame rails. We got it. They're just having a hard time getting the holes lined up. There's too many people out here trying to tell him what to do. He has a hard time doing the right thing, listening to the right person, so we got it. Last one. Well, other than the Western Star, but its bed isn't back here. I'm not sure where they put that because they changed that one halfway through harvest. But we're on the last one. It's like we've done this before or something. It's only taken us about 35 minutes to take the beds off and put the beds back on. It's like we do this 5 times a year or something like that. Well-oiled machine right here. Just have this #1 truck left. Got it. This one's a little more tricky to get lined up because it's got bolt holes right there, and they're all different places all the way around. So you have to stick the bar up between them and then have it slide down and line up. But we got it. Truck bed has some bearings out right here, so we're going to take it up by the shop and fix it. So we just kind of jimmy rigged this chain up in there best we could. We're going to take it up by the shop. We got to set it on some straw bales. Now we pulled this in here, and this one, everything's hydraulic, so we hooked up the hydraulic lines. Should be able to do, everything should work now, but we haven't bolted it down yet. So has these brackets that just go around the frame in 6 spots and bolt it down. And then for hay, we have to put the sides on. So we will get this thing bolted down. We're in here just getting these brackets on. Trevor's down there. He's getting the nuts on the bottom. I have to make sure to talk loud and constantly here to drown out the radio because the radio's on and we'll get copyrighted if I stop talking. So I can't stop talking before Trevor gets this on. So hurry and get it on, Trevor.
Okay, so we are done digging. One thing we're doing to preserve our chains is now we take all the chains off. There's 3 of the primary chains off the crossover. As you can kind of look on here now, we've got all the primary chains off. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're in the middle of taking the secondary chains off back there. That's what those guys are doing, pulling the pins out. What we'll do from there is put it all on pallets, and we'll put it inside out of the weather so that it doesn't rub, or the weather doesn't make these rubber chains go brittle. I know we talked about it a little bit last night. So here's some of the diviners off of here. We got the diviners off. We're just gonna clean all the dirt off of these machines. But last night was our last day. We finished up. This is where a car came and hit me on the road and broke the boom chain off of the harvester. Just for insurance purposes, we contacted our dealer, our Sputnik dealer, and I got an invoice or a quote, I guess, on a brand new digger chain, and it is $7,700. So fortunately their insurance will be paying for it, but that, if you think about it, is almost 1,000 sacks worth of potatoes just to pay for that. So that's why we're taking all the chains off so they don't go bad out in the sun, and we can use them another year.
So we're just loading them up on pallets. We're gonna go put them in the cellar. Looks like the harvesters or the crossover's just about done. They haven't done the harvester yet. I'm gonna go blow all the dust off of this thing. I was gonna pressure wash it, but since it never rained, it's not really mud or dirt, it's just dust. So I'm just gonna blow it off. I've got this 6-foot air wand and I'm hoping it works. So let's give it a test. Oh yeah.
Working good. Get it nice and clean. And I'm not getting pelted with nasty muddy water. So I'm gonna keep working at this. See you guys in a minute. I'd call that pretty clean. It's not as clean as if I'd use a pressure washer, but all of this, mainly I got all the big piles of dirt off. All this will just get washed off with rain, so that's not a big deal. It's when you got a big pile of dirt that gets wet and then sits there, it makes the paint rust and fall off. And yeah, so it's all clean. I just put the little legs down. I'm gonna go unhook this because we won't use it. Actually, this winter we'll bring it in and we'll change all the flails, but we won't use it again until next year. I just unhooked it. I was gonna film and then I forgot to film. But I couldn't get the PTO out of the tractor because when I hooked it up, it didn't want to slide in and out very good. So I just left it hooked to the tractor, pulled it apart. So now I should be able to pop it off and then possibly slide it back in. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. To pop this off, I have to pull this ring in. You can see one of the balls right there, but I have to slide this in and then it releases and slides off. But it was that part that was so seized up that it didn't want to slide. So I'm guessing that's what the problem was this time, why it wouldn't come off. So I'm gonna get that off. Now it is time for the screen to come off. I've cut all of the ties except for those two. So I'm gonna cut those two and I'm gonna lift this off. But I can't record it because I'm standing on a little tiny beam and I need all my hands and feet so I don't fall off this thing. I mean, I'm only like 7 feet off the ground, so yeah, I'm gonna get this done. Hopefully not fall. Just like that, it's off and stored for next year. So I go park this. This will be hooked to our hay rake. So, and I'm gonna be out of town for the next 4 days. So we're going on a little camping trip before we get into more harvesting and manure and all that stuff. Because I haven't even seen my family hardly at all in the last 2 weeks, so. Got to get this ready today because next week we're doing hay. All right, this is Chris. I'm up here in the tractor. We're just in the process again of taking all of the chains off. Jose, we just got the secondary off. They're rolling up one of the primaries over there. They pull it out with the four-wheeler and then we put it on the pallet. So now I'll turn it on until we get the other side on, and it's going to slowly run this one secondary they have undone on the ground. We're trying to find the connector link for the other one, and then we'll undo that one as well. Anastacio's down inside there just cleaning all the dirt off. Okay, looks like we hit the spot there. One just went onto the ground right there, and that's the last one we got to take off. The guys are underneath there now pulling the pin, if you can see them crawling underneath there. So we got the boom chain that the car hit last night is right there on that pallet. There's a primary over there. I got the side elevator is on a pallet in the back, so we have that. Secondary is the last one to take off. The diviners already came off on the back and are on pallets. We have the rear cross is the last one after that secondary to take off. Then I'll probably pull this over next to the shop where I can blow it all off, all this dirt here on the front, get it all blown off and cleaned off so it doesn't rust. when it sits outside all winter with a couple feet of snow sitting on it. So that's what we're up to today. We're just about done. I think once we get this one done, I'm gonna tell the guys to go out to eat and get some rest, because we've all been working 14 or so, 15, 16-hour days for the last couple weeks. And all my pipe movers have bus tickets to go back to Mexico. One has a plane ticket for Friday. So I only got them for a couple more days, and then they'll come back again next April to cut seeds. So that's what we're up to today. I got a good group of guys. They're down there telling me to turn it on, waiting for me to stop talking and get off my phone. So now if you can see, I'm just running. I run the PTO with Anastasio right below it. I'll run it until that secondary falls and hits the ground. You'll see it come down, clink, right there, and it's on the ground. So now we just have to stop the rear cross in the right spot, and we'll be golden.
We got all the chains off the harvester. You got them all?
Yep, just barely got them all. I did a little bit of filming of when they're inside of it, taking all the connectors apart.
All right, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of work to do.
We got the
it's a lot of chains.
done. We just got to clean all the dirt off of this. In the morning, I'll probably pull it over by the shop to blow it off, and then park it, and then hopefully all the 2 feet of snow that sits on it will finish washing it the rest of the way out.
That's what I did to the chopper. I just blew it off. I was like, all the rest of the dirt will get washed off with snow and rain.
Yeah. And now we might could bring in the wintertime and change all the flails.
Yeah, we need to do that. But all these guys, they'll all be leaving back to Mexico, and
they all have
what,
tickets
Friday?
for Friday morning, 8 o'clock. Except for Jose. He's going to stay till the snow flies.
All right. Jose's staying here, right, Jose?
He's got a couple more weeks, he said.
Take the air filter out of my tractor, because being in that dust cloud for 2 weeks, it's pretty heavy, which means there's a lot of dirt in there. I know if I just tap on it, dirt just comes out. So I'm gonna kind of knock all the dirt out of this and kind of blow it out a little bit, just to get through hay, and then we'll probably just replace it before next year. But I need 2 hands to do that. It's super dusty though. It's full, you can see it. It's packed full of dirt. Been tapping it for a little bit, and it's all this dirt is from that nice pile. And it's like half the weight now. So I'm gonna get the air compressor and kind of blow it off a little bit, and then we'll put it back in. It's mostly clean. It's about half the weight. And for anybody wondering, like, oh, you're gonna get dust inside and it's gonna get in your engine, there's an inner filter. So if there was dust inside of this, it would get trapped in that one. So this one just catches all the big particles of dust, and then that catches all the little particles of dust. So it's not gonna hurt anything, but I'm gonna throw it in here in a second. I wonder if I can do this with one hand. Probably. Let's see. Oh yeah. Just kind of goes up like that. The cover just snaps on. There. Filter is back in. I'm gonna shut this hood and go park my tractor.
Hello guys, out here on this nice sunny day. As you can see, we got our 9510 back, and I'm doing a little chisel plowing. Been over that, and that looked nice and smooth. Got this left to do over to the pivot there, and then we'll move on to the next field. But after a very, very expensive engine rebuild, they got the tractor back to us. Now we're putting it to work. No rest for the weary. Also, I know Rick normally runs this, but don't know and get here. You can maybe see him over there. That little red and yellow thing over there. He's overcutting our 5th crop hay. Let's see if I can get a little bit. You can see a little bit right there that he's cut already. We will start chopping that Monday, hopefully, weather permitting. We'll get that off, and then we'll go to hauling manure. Back to long days again.
Well, I didn't film any more that day, and I forgot to tell you guys that I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.